Getting to the pageant, if I might, and I'm just wondering, your biggest moment. Obviously, you've been asked that question probably a zillion times, but what was your biggest moment during the pageant, and your biggest moment since then?
During the pageant itself, or during this past year, or both?
Both.
Ooh, I'll take both.
Okay. I would say the biggest moment during the actual competition was when I was standing with Miss Alabama, when it was just the two of us, and one of us was going to become the winner. And to my left stood all of the other 48 contestants, and they were chanting, "Connecticut, Connecticut, Connecticut." And even if I hadn't won, to me, the fact that these girls that were my competition for 2 weeks were so supportive and were so excited that if I was going to be the winner, they were genuinely, from the bottom of their hearts, happy for me, made it. You know, after the kind of, it's a very competitive atmosphere for 2 weeks, and the fact that I was the same girl that I walked in as the same girl I was leaving, and all of those women were able to see that genuineness that I have about myself, it was amazing. And even people from the outside said, "Erin, when the girls got eliminated, they ran around to the back and they were watching the screen and saying, 'Connecticut, Connecticut.'" And I don't know, I think that that's really cool. That, you know, at least if you're not going to win, you want to be happy for the girl that does win and hope that they represent your class well. And I'm glad that they felt that way.
So now you can come down to Baton Rouge and say, Louisiana, Louisiana. So what was your
Exactly.
biggest moment since? Yes.
I think the biggest moment since was actually the week I got to go home for my homecoming was actually when it really hit me that I was Miss Connecticut, or actually Miss USA, because I had such a camaraderie, not just from my family and friends, but from the entire state. People came from all walks of life to sit and cheer me on at the different events that I had throughout the state of Connecticut, and it was so cool to walk into the grocery store even and have people stop me and say, "Hey, I recognize you from somewhere," or it was kind of surreal, but for me it was just so interesting. People were like living vicariously through me and were so excited that finally somebody from Connecticut had won, and you know, whether they knew my grandparents or they went to school with me, it was a surreal week, and it was just so great to see the camaraderie of an entire state.
We're running out of time. Susan, Mia, any other questions?
How is the Miss Universe pageant? How was Russia?
It was incredible. I think just to be able to compete and meet girls, 90 women from all over the world, was just in itself, that experience was unreal. Never mind being in Russia, competing for such a prestigious title. I think it's great because what people didn't know was that if I did not win, whoever did win was going to become my roommate. So I was really like walking around saying, "Man, I hope this one doesn't get into the top 5." Because, you know, they're going to become my roommate. So once the top 5 were announced, I was like, okay, all right, okay, I can deal. And it was perfect because now I have beautiful Miss Venezuela.
Miss Venezuela, that's right. Oh, she was so adorable. How fun.
We get along very well. We have a lot in common. So it's interesting dynamic to go from being in competition mode with that person for 3 weeks to go to being their roommate and their friend. So
right.
We really merged our lives very well. She came home with me for Easter, so that was nice.
How cute is that?
Yeah.
And you made it to the top 10 too. That was awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that was. I said, you know what? That's not too bad for 90 women.
Not bad, girl.
Now, okay, so now you're in Louisiana. And when I think of Louisiana, I think of food.
I do.
Have you had any fabulous, outstanding meal you want to tell us about?
I haven't had anything yet.
Oh.
I'm looking forward to jambalaya, crawfish, some kind of I'm a dessert junkie, so any kind of sundae or brownie. I don't have to compete, remember, so I'm looking forward to being able to enjoy myself there.
Well, there's a lot to do here, and if you hear the voice going, Miss Connecticut, Miss Connecticut. That's probably me in back. Listen, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
And we'd love to have you on a webcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And Erin, I have a show called Food and Booze. You should come on that too.
Oh, yes.
Seriously. Who doesn't love food and booze, right?
Right. Oh,
Started
that
it.
sounds exciting.
Thank you so much.
Very nice
It's
to
great
meet
to
you.
meet
Look forward
you.
to seeing you
You
soon.
all.
All right. Thank you.